Derrick Lewis delivered in the UFC Nashville main event when he stopped Tallison Teixeira just 35 seconds into the heavyweight headliner, sent the fans home happy. Was it a bit of an early stoppage? Perhaps. Certainly the way the final sequence went there is Teixeira was using the fence to get up. Jason Herzog stepped in. Bit of an awkward time. Would have liked to see it either being stopped earlier on during the ground striking sequence or maybe just let it go on a few more moments and see how things played out from there. Nevertheless, Lewis is the winner here. His 20th UFC victory, 16 by knockout, extends his all-time TKO/KO record in the UFC and shows once again afterwards why he is so entertaining, why he is loved by so many in the MMA community and so many fans of the sport. And he just brings something different and unique every time he goes in there, and pretty much must-watch television every time there's a Derrick Lewis fight, even still now at 40 years old. And seems like he is in a pretty good position in this heavyweight division, which in the aftermath of Jon Jones retiring is pretty bleak. Tom Aspinall has fought a lot of the guys in the top 10. One of the few he is not is Lewis, and I think that could make a title fight between them sometime down the line potentially quite realistic. I don't think you give it to Lewis now by any stretch. I think we would all like to feel like he deserves it at least a little bit, and he just isn't getting it by default because he is the only guy there. And I think in order to do that, maybe you look at a couple of potential rematches with guys inside the top 5. Of course, Teixeira only had one fight in the UFC, and although he got the quick win, still doesn't really show that he is elite and capable of beating the elite at this point in time. So for me, I think you either do a rematch against Alexander Volkov, who he of course beat in a incredible shocking comeback at UFC 229, the start of the "my balls was hot" meme and era, taking the shorts off, all that kind of stuff. You could run that fight back definitely now. Volkov coming off a controversial loss to Ciryl Gane. I think that could be a title eliminator quite realistically, and I think it would be a compelling rematch to put together after all these years and see how far these guys would come. If not, I think you could also look at Curtis Blaydes, who's coming off a win of his own in Baku, and of course there's history there. Lewis had one of the most devastating uppercut knockouts in UFC history in their first fight, and I think Blaydes would love the chance to get that revenge, and I think that would be a high profile and important fight in the division. Blaydes, of course, always a perennial contender as well. So those would be the two fights I think would make sense for Lewis. So we'll see how that all shakes out, but this was a big win, an important win for Derrick Lewis, and he is a relevant part of the title picture right now in the current state of the heavyweight divisions.